I would like to get this celebration going. Behind me, I have Alex, Mark's oldest son. I have Stephen, Mark's youngest son. Stephen just turned 21, August 2nd. And I have Maureen's brother, Uncle Eddie, here with me. So I'm going to open up by telling a short story, then I'm going to turn the mic over to Uncle Eddie, and he's going to turn the mic over to Mark's best friend, Tom, and then we would like any of you folks that have something to share to come up and say a couple of words on behalf of Mark. So to dive right into it, I guess I have to say I moved here from Warren, Pennsylvania with my wife in 1991, and we moved to Juanita in 1993. The first person we ever met was a fellow named Mark Hayward. Mark and I had a history. I used to be a jogger. I'm a little bit older now. And Mark and I, we used to do the Jingle Bell Run, the St. Patrick's Day Dash, the Kirkland runs. As all you all know, Mark was a runner. Until recently, his knees gave out on him, so he quit jogging, because I'm sure every one of you have seen him running up and down Juanita Drive here, or 100th Avenue. But his knee gave out on him about 4 or 5 years ago. So since then, he's been and he walked and walked and walked. And I can't figure out why the heck the big guy in the sky took him away from us this past week, because he was always exercising and in good health. Mark spent many a moons at my house. As I said earlier, my daughter is the daughter that he never had. He took care of my daughter like nobody I've ever seen take care of another gal. And he also took care of my wife. He took my wife to school every morning. My wife works at Finn Hill Junior High School, and Mark would come over every morning right on the dot. He was always on time at 7:45, and he'd pick Karen up. He'd take her to school, drop her off, and he'd go over to Thoreau and do his business. So Mark was very thorough, very prompt, and I've never knew Mark to be late for anything. Mark was very, very punctual, I should say. And a lot of you sitting in here, I don't want to mention any names, because there's so many names that Mark has been in touch with. If I left one name out, I would feel horrible. So I'm not going to say anybody's name. But one thing about Mark, he never traveled very far. So we're going to put this on a humorous note right here. Mark went as far west as Safeco Field to go to the Mariner games. He went as far south as Kirkland to Peter Kirk to watch baseball. He went east as far as Kingsgate, and where to go? North. I think he made it to Everett once. yeah, to the opposite sides. But Mark was one to stay in the neighborhood, and I think that's how you all will remember him, as someone that's been a part of all your lives and a very part of my family's lives. I have so many zillion stories to share with you, but I'd be up here for about 2 hours. One thing I do want to share with all of you, I'm going to mention one name. My friend Don and I were the last ones to be with Mark last week. And Mark, being the way he is, let me backtrack a little bit. He wanted to walk. We watched the Mariner game together, and he had a black tank top on, and it was at 9 o'clock at night. He wanted to walk home up Simon's Road. I said, "No, Mark, you are not walking home." So we jumped in my rig, and we took him home. As soon as we got home, he said, "Okay, let's go out." I said, "No, Mark, you're staying here, I'm going home." And that's how I'll always remember Mark. He always had a smile on his face, he always had good things to say, and he never, I'm going to say one more name. My friend Rob mentioned to Steve and Alex, he said, "You know what? Your dad never had one bad bone in his body. He never said one hard, harsh word to anyone." So I'm going to leave it at that and let you know that Karen, Kayla, and I, on behalf of the Turner family, are going to miss Mark forever. And Mark is going to be the most important part of our life because we have so many moments that we shared together. And Mark has two friends that I know of that are very dear that he's in heaven with right now. One of them was our friend Bob Paulson, Big Bob we called him, and the other friend was his father. And I know Mark and his father and Bob are down here looking after all of us and making sure that we move forward. So that's about all I have to share with you all right now, and I'm going to turn this over to Uncle Eddie, which is Maureen's brother, and he's going to say a couple words, and Tom's going to come up and say a couple words. Then hopefully we'll get some of the faculty up here that could share some words about work, because one thing that I don't know about Mark is his work experience, because outside of work he didn't talk about work. He just talked about all the students, and he had a lot of students over 31 years.